Uh, One thing that I would like to do, and I apologize if I kind of sound kind of nasal today, like it's just hay fever season, so I got all that kind of stuff going on. Um, Tony, I am actually going to put you on the spot just for fun, okay? And I would like you to kind of lightly teach us how things are stored in a database, whatever level, okay? Just like as simple, like whether it's talking about tables and IDs or like just anything like that. And I would like, are you okay if I totally put you on the spot and even have you come up here so that you're kind of like presenting to us type thing? And what we're doing right here is just kind of batting things around, but I would love to kind of just hear some of your ideas. We'll feed off of it as well, okay? So. And you can use whatever tool you want, or just talk, or
Okay, so the main point of a database, the starting point of what you need to understand how data is stored in the database, is all data is stored in tables. So
let's actually have you bump that up to like say 24-point font or something. Just go Control A, select everything. That would help. Yeah.
All data is stored in tables. Okay, so that is like the number one thing about a database. And so a table, in general, tables is what you would think of when you think of like a computer table. It's all tabular. It has rows, columns, that kind of thing. So what you do is you have your columns that store. You have different types of columns in a table. Type. So you have columns that store data, and you have columns that store IDs. Let's see, what other types of columns?
Numerics.
Well, yes.
Strings,
so
dates.
For data, you have strings, dates, numbers,
yes, no, kind of like a Boolean.
Any kind of data. You can even go so far as to store photos in tables, files,
Yep.
All kinds of stuff. I recommend oftentimes files, but pretty much any data you can think of, you can store in a table. And then IDs, these identify each row. Unique identifier for each row. And then you have references. And these point to IDs in other tables.
Correct. So let's put it to the side of that, relationships or relational model, something like that, relationships.
Okay, so to give an example, I'm going to kind of diagram out a small database. So let's say we have a company. Give me an example of a company.
Why don't you do something that you like so that it'll kind of be more fluent? And like even the other day we were talking about climbing, and I could care less. Basically, what we want to do is just kind of show how things are stored.
Mm-hmm. So let's see, insert.
There's a table tag.
Table. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Draw table. Okay.
So let's actually do this just for fun, just to make it even easier. We're going to switch tools. Right at the bottom, I already have an Excel spreadsheet.
Excel. Okay. Let's
Rows
do this.
and columns automatically. Okay. And tabs at the bottom. We can do all sorts of stuff. So go ahead and play how you'd like to play here. I've disabled tap to click on my pad in case you were. And you're
okay. All right. So let's create. So the first column will be the ID. We're going to create a column called customer, or a table called customer. Or no. So for me, we'll go with the rock climbing example just because I love rock climbing. So we'll go with the rock climber. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to create another table called location, and then another table we'll have down here called routes. So rock climber will have an ID, he will have a name, and then
maybe like a skill level.
Yeah, a skill level, and maybe a type of preferred climbing.
Okay, and maybe a gender, maybe.
Yeah, and a gender. Okay, so location is like, so location will also have an ID, and it will have a name, maybe a number of routes that it has, and then maybe that's it for location. And then routes will have their own ID. They will have a reference to the ID of the location where the route is, and then a difficulty, and then a type, whether it be like a trad or a sport climb. And then here for between rock climber and route, we can have another table. This is called a linker table. And this table will actually have just two columns. It will have a reference to climber ID, and it will have a reference to the route ID. And so what this allows us to do is this will let us show, and maybe whether he was successful in the climb or got a red point or whatever you want to say about it, whatever information you want to store about the relationship. So what this allows us to do is tie any climber to any number of routes and any number of routes to any specific climber. So we have a many-to-many relationship by this linker table. And then routes are tied by this reference on a one route to, or multiple routes to one location reference. And so this way we can relate which climber has done which routes where, and whether or not he's been successful, what he likes to climb. We can identify which routes maybe he'd like to do in the future by his preferred type, linking it to the type of the routes. And there's all kinds of things that we can do to, so let's say we have ID 1, and his name is going to be Chris Sharma. And his skill level is 515C.
Awesome.
That's actually the hardest route in the world, and it's in Spain. And wow, him and one other person have ever done it. Adam Ondra. So his preferred type of climbing is deep water soloing. And he's a male. And then we can say we have a location 1, and this is, let's say Yosemite. And it probably has like 100 plus routes. And then we can say, well, we have route 1, and that one is located in Yosemite, so we put a 1 or a pointer to that ID, and then we can say this one has a difficulty of a 511C, and it is trad. And then we can say we have 2, and it's also in Yosemite. No, this one's a 10D, but it's sport. And then we can go through and say we have somewhere,
go Logan Canyon.
Logan Canyon. And Logan Canyon has also like 200 routes. I probably should have said a lot more than 100 plus in Yosemite. 500. It is. And then we'd have route 3, and this one would be from location 2. And let's do one that I'm working on right now. This one's a 12C. That's awesome. Oh, hey, I forgot a name here.
Yep.
Let's name our routes. This one is a sport route, and this one's called the Oboe. And then we can say that climber 1 has successfully climbed 3, he got a red point on it. Or we can even say on site. And then we can go here and we can be like, okay, here's another one. It's in location 2. This one is a 514B, and it is sport, and it is called.
Nice.
And it used to be the hardest route in all of North America.
And it was right up Logan Canyon. That's pretty cool.
And so
That just
we
has
can
to
say ID 2, and this is Tony Morgan.
Yeah.
And my skill level's about a 511A. And I like sport. I'm working on my trad. I'm male, and I have tried Route 3, and it is a project. Yeah, and so that's basically kind of a quick overview of how data is stored in tables. And you can expand this as big as you want, and as long as you keep your references in there and make sure that you structure things correctly, you can have millions of records in here, and it will be very, very fast.
Awesome, awesome. Tony, that is perfect, perfect.
Yeah,
That's
great.
exactly what I wanted to cover. Well done, well done.
That's great.
So we talk one-to-many relationships all the time. Really quick, what are some one-to-many relationships that we have set up right here? Okay.
In this table that I made,
Yeah, you have 4 different little tables, kind of to do a simple little climbing.
the main one-to-many is the routes to location.
Okay. So routes, because it has this little sub-identifier, it comes over here to talk to its main ID. That's how it connects. 1. So if I were to actually change the word Yosemite, this is the cool thing about a relational database, okay? If I change this to, say, Yosemite, California, okay, and I hit enter, guess what it automatically did to all of these routes?
It updated them to Yosemite, California.
Because the ID numbers are tied, not the physical values.
That's why you never tie things by name.
Correct, correct. So that's super powerful. That's database stuff. This is how we store and hold things. And we can create all sorts of objects that can have histories and data and photos. And like if you wanted to, you could even create another little one right here that had a photo thing and then tie it to routes. A one-to-many to routes, okay? Like you can do multiple different things as far as connecting different pieces of the puzzle together. So it's kind of cool. Shannon, Tony and I, we deal with database stuff all the time. What are some of your thoughts on like, oh my goodness, I had no clue.
Yeah, it was cool to see it laid out. I feel like I understand it when you talk about it in Adilas, but it was neat to see it laid out and understand, oh, that makes sense. Like you're basically just setting it up. These are my variables, and this is what I need to link to. So then whatever I input there, this is my reference, and then it will just relate it. It makes a lot of sense to me. Like you said, you would never tie it to a name because instead you're tying it to this main ID, so I can call that whatever I want to call it, and it changes. I think it's cool, or yeah, just combining all of it.
Awesome. That's totally what we do. So
I've never seen it laid out like that.
if we just as an example, say we had something like this. You see how we changed the name, but the IDs were still referenced across where they are? What if we allowed you to come up with the name and we automatically behind the scenes are plugging ID numbers? So all of a sudden we say, oh, would you like a new category? What would you like to name it? Oh, I sell ice cream. Oh, I sell parts. Oh, I sell, books or whatever. Okay, cool. Like we don't even care because we cross-tie things that way through database connections. So it's kind of awesome that way.